Namaskar. Usha Chhabra Institute for Creative Engagement is working with a vision of creating a better society by engaging children and adults in various creative pursuits and showcasing the talents of individuals. In the series Ek Mulaqat, we interview authors and other creative personalities. In this episode, today we have Ms. Sathya Achia as our guest. So we welcome Ms. Sathya.
Evening.
Yeah, thank you so much. Good evening. So I'm from India at this moment, and Satya is joining from US, right? So
Correct.
let me introduce you to the audience. So Satya is the best-selling author of In My Hands, a young adult fantasy adventure novel, and The Crane in the Mist, a short story published in the anthology Tales Untold, Mythos Around the World. Her stories are inspired by her childhood and travels, especially time spent visiting her family in Kodagu, India, where she learned the art of storytelling from her grandparents. She is a member of the Society for Children's Book Writers and Illustrators, SCBWI, and the Authors Guild, and is an active participant in the children's book community through events such as Multicultural Children's Book Day and World Read Aloud Day, WRAD. Yes, Satya. So, how are you feeling joining from the US to India?
Well, I'm very excited to be with you today. I'm looking forward to our conversation, and I love the power of technology in this sense to be able to communicate with people everywhere. So,
Has made it so easier, right, to communicate.
absolutely.
Yeah. So, very nice of you that you have agreed to talk to us today. And first of all, I would like you to show that book for which we are here today.
Absolutely. This is Priya.
Congratulations for this beautiful book, Priya, the Jungle Dancer, and it's published by Adidev Publishers. So, yeah. So, Satya, you just tell me one thing. This book you have written, this is a debut book, the picture book that is there in your hands. So, and it's such a beautiful cover with the jungle thing and all, right? So, I just have the first question to go because I was going through your LinkedIn profile, and there I was surprised to get to see you as a communication professional with more than 20 years of proven experience in medical and consumer publishing and the higher education and healthcare fields. Now, this is you are writing for young children, right? And there you
Correct.
are writing for such big people. So, what is it? Like, what is this magic? How are you managing?
Well, it's tough. It does take a lot of magic, if you will. But at its core, communication has always been my heart and soul. So I've always been a storyteller since I was very, very young. And it just, as I grew, it grew with me. And when I saw that it was possible to combine the things I love and make this a profession, it was exciting. I actually have an undergrad degree in biology and a postgrad in print and broadcast journalism. So my professional by day, I communicate with, whether it be patients in public or it's the physicians themselves and healthcare professionals. And by night, I switch my brain and I just work in the creative field. I love creating stories. I've always, and that infatuation grew with my own family and my grandparents and my own parents were huge proponents. We were at the library. I think that was our second home. So as a child, it was just something that I've always loved. And
So,
I'm fortunate.
thinking about your childhood days, I think you have spent in India, right? So just
Correct.
about your childhood days, how you spent and how it has actually in your memories that you want to bring them out.
Absolutely. So I was born and raised in Canada, actually. And my parents had come from India when they were quite young for school. And then their own professional lives. And but we were always in touch with my grandparents and my uncles and aunts and cousins to this day. We have still some family there in India. So Kodagu, our summer break here in the West would take us over to India, and I would spend several months sometimes visiting with my grandparents. So my maternal grandparents were based in Kodagu, in a small village at the edge of this beautiful, it was magic, is absolutely magical place at the edge of a jungle or rainforest. It's actually a rainforest, but they used to, when I was small, would always say the jungle. And that's why the story became Priya the Jungle Dancer. But my memories of being there, playing with my cousins, visiting with my grandparents, there's such strong memories and really shaped a lot of who I am today, even though, an ocean stands between us. It's just these connections that you have that stay with you. And I felt it's something that has been a major force, a major driver in everything I've done. So, yeah, that's kind of where I was
And
with
when the
visiting.
calling is there, you cannot stop. When that calling is there, that you have been in the jungle, and why are you not writing about me as such? I mean, these things come over there, why again and again, and that compels you to write. What I feel.
Absolutely.
Great, great. So, how did you get inspired to write for children?
Wow. So I think for me, as a child, again, going back to the fact I spent so much time in a library, it's this love of books and this love of creating stories. And I just, as a kid, I would also write my own stories. My mom she gave me a journal. She said, write to your heart's content, write your day, write your stories, do what you want. And that was my creative outlet. And again, I was very fortunate that both my parents have been such a great source of support and love for this journey. They've always encouraged, do well in all things, but have a passion and follow that passion and see that through. So writing for children just became this, oh, I'm just going to continue writing these stories I wanted to see. But a second part to that ended up being the books I was reading in the library. The children weren't necessarily like me. And it wasn't something, I felt that I wasn't being represented in the books that I was reading, which meant a lot of my peers in different communities, diverse communities, they weren't seeing themselves either. So as I, continued with this creative dream, I saw a place for, where I can contribute and share these stories of, Indian children having these magical adventures, being the hero, saving the day. And I never saw that in books. There were a lot of stereotypes in some of the literature and media that you see. And I wanted to bust those stereotypes. I wanted to show these strong kids doing their thing. And yeah, that's my goal. I want to show that representation.
That's really good. And because Indian children have their different names also, isn't it? Even the area where they are living. So that doesn't match with the West. Okay. So children,
Absolutely.
I understand, but still the cultural differences are there. And
Mhm.
so that is required. And the person who has been staying here in jungles in India definitely will bring out something different for others, right? So you
Absolutely.
must have done a great job while writing because all your experiences and those everything, like whatever experience you were having with the jungle over here has come out so well. I have gone through the book and it was really lovely.
Oh,
Pictures are also lovely over there. So I just want to know one thing, as you are writing for young adults, and now this is a picture book and it's a debut one. So there will be some struggle, right? So you just talk about that also, because that is also interesting. Like those people who want to see this, who are watching this interview, might want to know this also, because how a person writes for, like, what are the things that you kept in mind when you are writing a picture book? Because pictures are taking a large amount of space over there.
Of course, of course. And I have to give a shout out to the beautiful illustrations in this book by Jana Nabir. She really captured so much of the Kodagu culture so well. And there's these beautiful little hidden gems in the book where there's actually my childhood pictures are included.
Oh,
And yeah, they're included in some of these pages here. You can
ah,
kind of see
yeah, yeah,
along
yeah.
the
I can see. Yes, yes, yes.
and throughout the book, in fact. But she
So you know
just
how you feel yourself also over there, isn't it? It's such a big thing.
that's me is the small about Priya's age in that book. So, but again, it's all to the illustrator and her vision and how she saw what she saw through it's a partnership in so many ways, right? Because she is interpreting the words in her way as well. So,
Pictures,
but again,
pictures say
yeah,
more, isn't it? In picture books, pictures have
yes,
much to say rather than words.
absolutely. Absolutely. Which again, where you're writing a novel like a young adult novel, this is my debut young adult
Ah,
novel in
great.
my hands. And with this, obviously, it took a very long time, but you'd be surprised, even though a picture book is a fraction of the page numbers, it still takes a long time because you're working with so few words, because again, you're partnering with those beautiful illustrations and you're really trying to give just enough, and just so that that complement of the pictures comes to be. um, Again, writing for the different audiences, I mean, to some degree, it's you're writing very much in the same way. You just watch the language that you are using. But at the same time, even for small children, it's okay to use these big words and have stories that have so many layers. They understand that. And I think it's very important to give children that regardless of the age. So,
Yeah.
yes.
So now it is in your hands. So how are you feeling? Yeah, so much elated about it.
Yes, absolutely. This is a dream come true. It was a dream to be able to write about my favorite people, my grandparents, and who were in my favorite place on earth. So it was this coming together of so much hard work. When you are writing creatively and you're trying to get published, that in itself is a very difficult journey. It takes a lot of grit. It takes a lot of determination. And you have to have a thick skin because there are critics at every turn. Whether it be your critique
First thing
partners
you have to have. The first thing that you should have.
absolutely. It can be very, very difficult. So, but here it is in my, like, I can't get enough of this book. I am so thrilled that it's out. And I'm thankful to Adidev Press and Janan for such a beautiful product here. So,
What about your grandparents? You tell me about them. Like when they saw this book, how did they feel and how did they respond? Oh my God, we can see others also. Isn't it? They're there.
well, my grandparents unfortunately have all four set, or all two sets have passed on. And so I think part of the impetus for writing this story was to have their memory live on in this way. And it started as a story for myself to kind of um, memorialize that relationship and celebrate that relationship. Um, but my own parents, who obviously have been, I mean, seeing them hold this book for the first time was an extremely magical thing. Um, and they're extremely excited about the whole thing. And I don't know that there's a picture book out there about Kodagu culture, so this is very exciting. And yeah.
So you have mentioned about Kodagu here. So what actually, if I would say that what readers should be getting here when they get hold of this book, little bit, not the full thing, you will say. Some surprises that you should keep.
Oh,
Study
when
and it's a beautiful book that I have also read and I really liked it. So give some idea.
Sure. Well, when readers take a look at this book, I hope they see a story of courage through Priya. I hope readers can identify with Priya and some of what she is going through. And it's a story that celebrates connection and celebrates roots. So I think it's a all those themes are very universal, and I hope that any child, any family picking up the book can relate to those aspects of it.
So it is really a pleasure talking to you, Satya. It is really nice that I'm sitting here in Delhi and talking to you, and you are such a renowned author, and you have been really doing so much for children also, isn't it? So I am also writing for children, and I'm an educator, and yeah. So I feel equally the same that when the books come into the hands of children and how they respond, that actually makes us creative, isn't it? I have also
Absolutely.
written books, and I just feel that when my books are read by children, when they are reading that story, how they will be feeling, and that feeling, when I'm sitting here at this moment, also, I have that with me. That yes, children. So you must also be feeling that way, no?
Absolutely. Yes. It's a beautiful feeling.
And even you are introducing the whole jungle of Kodagu here and to the children, and that's also very good. And even the cultural differences are also there that you are mentioning over there. So the roots are there. So even when I was reading, I just researched, about whatever you have written.
Yes.
Yeah, and recently I had gone to MP also. There's like it's a tiger reserve over there, Paint.
Yes.
Yeah, so we were taken for jungle safari over there and the jungle and all. For the first time, I was watching that jungle at night.
Wow, that must have been
When
amazing.
I got this book, when I got this Priya, the jungle dancer, I got it. So I was just having that feeling. Yes, the jungles are so big, and we should really conserve our forests. What I feel.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They need
You're talking about
everyone's help.
rainforests. You're talking about rainforests, isn't it?
Correct, correct. I mean, there's such a diverse wildlife and fauna to be protected. There's lots of development going on, so it's definitely a
Yeah.
cause right there.
We have to really be careful about our own diverse, this such beautiful rainforest and all. So it was lovely talking to you. So I hope, I wish that this goes into all the hands of children and they will be really saying, yes, we have read this book, The Other Jungle Dancer. Beautiful book
Oh,
it is. And
thank you so much.
uh, so thank you for joining. Thank you. Bye bye. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Bye bye.